the Cincinnati Reds. Bucco fans on hand at PNC Park for the middle game of this big three-game series, and some young ladies even taking in a Pirates game before the big day. And this is a big day, of course, with Pitt playing across the way at Heinz Field. Second half of this sports doubleheader in Pittsburgh, and the Pirates winning last night once again in dramatic fashion. The Pirates have won 3 in a row and 6 of their last 8, and they are creeping. The Cardinals, by the way, are losing game 1 of their doubleheader against the Chicago Cubs. Greg Brown along with Bob Walk. Bob, are you getting tired at all talking about this guy, Josh Harrison?
It is amazing. No, I'm not getting tired. Watching that game last night, I mean, if you love good baseball, you like Pirate wins, and if you're a J-Hay fan, could it have gotten any better? What could he not, what could he do differently? Great plays with the glove, great job with the bat, and some of the throws that he was making were just fantastic. It was everything, but what's new, really?
Yeah.
This has been going on for months now. He has just blossomed into maybe one of the top 5 players in the league. It's just great to watch this.
He's only 3 points behind Justin Morneau, by the way, for the batting title, and he's in the top 6 in slugging in the National League. Meanwhile, one of the reasons the Pirates, in addition to Josh Harrison, are winning lately, Bob, the starting pitching has been outstanding.
Yeah, that's really what it takes, and if we're going to be there at the end of this coming month, it's going to be the starting pitchers. You can see there what Vance has been up to, and Alfredo Simon is the opposite. He has really struggled since the All-Star break. The league is hitting well over 300 off of him. So I want to see Vance get through that the first couple innings clean. I want to see Simon pitched over the same way he's been pitching since the All-Star break. And I want to see J.A. do something crazy tonight, and we're going to win.
J.A. got to do something crazy tonight. The Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds getting ready to play ball at PNC Park. It's been a lot of fun here. The Pirates tied for the best record in the National League in their home yard. J.A. and the Bucks take on the Redlegs next.
ball here.
The Buccos come back in dramatic fashion. It has been a lot of fun here at PNC Park all season long, but really since the Pirates had that 7-game losing streak, they bounced back. They beat the Atlanta Braves to salvage the finale of that series here in Pittsburgh. They went out, beat the Brewers in Milwaukee 2 out of 3. And after losing the first game of the series against the Cardinals, they take 2 in a row against the Redbirds. They win last night. Josh Harrison leading the way, and Edinson Volquez, the great start. As fans continue to make their way into PNC Park. We'll check out the Honda starting lineup for Brian Price's Cincinnati Reds. They are 65-70 on the year. The speedster Billy Hamilton hitting .370 on the year against the Pirates. Leads off, then Todd Frazier and Brandon Phillips. Devin Mesoraco is the cleanup man. Brian Pena, switch hitters at first base. Jay Bruce in right. Zach Cozart, Skip Schumacher, and Alfredo Simon round out the starting 9.
Let's take a look at Vance Worley's numbers. Got to get him through the early part of the ball game and get that part cleaned up. He's been struggling a little bit, giving up runs early, and then settling in and doing a pretty fine job. So have to really focus in, I think, on this first inning right now.
Check out the defense. Brought to you by Volvo. Andrew McCutcheon in center. Andrew Lambeau is back with the Pirates. He's in right. Starling Marte in left. Harrison Mercer, Walker Davis across the infield, and Russell Martin does the catch. Strike one. We're underway. Hamilton last night 1 for 3 on base a couple of times and a couple of steals. A couple of strikes. .53 stolen bases on the year for Hamilton. Second behind D. Gordon of the Dodgers for the league lead. Vance Worley's second appearance this season against the Reds, made 1 in relief before the All-Star break.
If there's a guy you really want to pound the strike zone early on and get established in that strike zone, it's Hamilton. Got to keep him off the bases.
That's the second time in a week we had a pitcher flirt with a no-hitter. Garrett Cole, and last night it was Volquez into the 7th inning, and off speed strikes out Billy Hamilton.
That's got to really make him feel better after what's been happening early in ball games. Come out here and strike out the first guy he faces. Like he tried to drop a low breaking ball over the outside corner. Hamilton, a little emergency swing, trying to get a piece of it, couldn't make contact.
Todd Frazier takes ball 1. 0 for 4 last night. What a job Volquez did to strike out Frazier with Hamilton at third base in the 6th inning and just 1 out. Struck him out on a pitch in the dirt. One ball and 1 strike. Edinson Volquez, the former Red, no decision, but 7 2/3. Brilliant baseball. 3 hits. No hitter broken up by Devin Mesoraco leading off the 7th.
I really didn't think he had. This is kind of weird to say, but I think he had good stuff last night.
Clint Hurdle echoed your sentiments in his post-game press conference last night. You mentioned, his fastball about 92.
Yeah, just did the job with it though. It was just changing speeds, through an awful lot of changeups.
3-1 on Frazier. Josh Harrison was all over the place last night. The glove and the bat. Three and 2 on Frazier, who played first base last night. Expecting another sellout crowd here. 16th sellout of the year last night. Over 2 million now for the year. stays 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Big sports day here on the North Shore.
Pitt had no trouble opening their schedule with a big W. And now see if the Pirates can't match the Panthers. And Worley walks Frazier on the 3-2 pitch. Doesn't walk many, 15 in 81 innings. Will now face Brandon Phillips, who was 0 for 3 and was hit by a pitch last night. Vance Worley making his 13th Pirate start. Frazier has 19 steals as Phillips comes up empty. We'll have to watch Todd Frazier. 19 stolen bases, caught 6 times, looking to become the 3rd Reds third baseman to have a 2020 season. Join Aaron Boone and Chris Sabo. 20+ homers, 20+ stolen bases. Bounce to Harrison. Who else? To second, to first. Double play. Great start to this one. Bucks come to bat against Alfredo Simon. What a bright, shining light he has been on this 2014 Pirates season. We check out the Toyota starting lineup. It is Jay Hay leading off. He'll be followed by Andrew Lambeau, who will make his first big league start since August of last year. Andrew McCutchen follows. Then it's Neil Walker and Russell Martin, with Ike Davis back at first base. Starling Marte in left. Jordy Mercer, the shortstop. The pitcher, Vance Worley.
Alfredo Simon has not been the same pitcher over the second half of the season that he was leading up to the All-Star break. His stats aren't nearly as good. In fact, they're actually a little on the poor side. When you look at what he has done in the second half of the season since the All-Star break, you got to think, Greg, that he's starting just to wear down.
Well, I remember earlier this year, Bob, you and I were talking, it might have been to Chris Welsh, the color analyst for the Reds, about whether Simon could carry a full season of work. I mean, he's thrown 160 innings. He threw 88 last year. 3 years ago, 115 coming off Tommy John surgery. So this is easily the most he has worked in his career.
You would wonder, Greg, with Cincinnati, pretty much falling out of the race. I know that they won't admit it and say because they're not mathematically eliminated, but you got to think that he's a candidate for an early shutdown, wouldn't you?
You would think so. especially they're so careful with anybody coming off Tommy John, even though it's been 2010 for Alfredo Simon.
Yeah, that big jump in innings. And I think more than anything else, and you look at the way the player, whoever it is, a player or a pitcher, is performing. I think that tells you what you need to know. And, he's scuffling, and it has to be related.
Josh Harrison flies out to center field. Alfredo Simon taking on these Buccos and his career 16 previous starts. 3-3 at .288 lifetime earned run average against the Bucs. Made 2 previous starts this year. 6 1/3 innings, 3 runs allowed, 6 2/3, 2 earned runs allowed. April 23rd and June 18th, both here at PNC Park. So Andrew Lambeau back and goes the other way. Well, I'll tell you, he talked about it today in the clubhouse before the game. We chatted with Lambeau about that at bat last night. He got up there and did not wait on Broxton. Very confident. He's been swinging a hot bat at AAA.
Yeah, I like the way he didn't try to pull that pitch, Greg. Did the location right in the outside corner. Only one place to hit that. That's the other direction. And wow, he smoked at the left field. Try to pull that ball down and away from you. That's going to be a ground ball to Phillips almost every time.
Andrew Lambeau, pinch hit single last night, opposite field base hit. We don't know about Travis Snyder, whether he is available to pitch hit, or Pedro Alvarez. Talking with Clint Hurdle before the game. He just was not going to know maybe until game time. Andrew McCutchen takes ball 1, hitting .306, 4th in the league. 1 for 4 last night. Two balls, no strikes. And nice to put some doubt in Simon's mind early. Don't give him any opportunity to start gaining confidence. 2 balls, no strikes on McCutchen.
Well, he's used to giving up hits the second half of the season. The league's hitting over 300 off of him. You put a couple together, and he's got to be thinking in his mind, here we go again.
33 years old, 6'6", 267 pounds, from the Dominican Republic. Had been a reliever his 2 previous years with Cincinnati. It's 3-1 on McCutchen. Simon did pitch a strong ball game 6 days ago against Atlanta. It just did catch the bottom part of the strike zone. Walked him. McCutchen aboard. Moves Lambeau to second. Simon's last start, 7 innings, 1 run on 5 hits against the Atlanta Braves, a 5-3 victory.
Now, Greg, it'd be nice to have a win that wasn't so dramatic for a change.
Yeah.
To get out here and knock somebody around early, maybe get that bullpen 3rd, 4th inning. Play with a nice big lead, relax a little. Sit back in the shade, in fact.
Josh Harrison and Jose Tabata, 2 of the 8th inning heroes last night.
Not much shade out there right now. This early afternoon start. Got the light towers casting their shadows. That's about it.
Walker 0 for 4 last night. 2 hits and 15 at bats on this homestand. Drive to right center field. Pretty well hit. Pretty well hit. And it is gone. Clear the deck. The real deal. Sends a cannonball over the right center field wall. It's 3-0.
There's a crooked number we're looking for. Just talking about it. Be nice to, maybe bust out early in a ball game. Play with a nice big lead. Maybe cruise a little bit. And Walker provides it right away. 3-run cushion. 1 swing.
Line drive, 3-run homer for Walker, his 18th of the season. 3-0.
What a power story that Walker is kind of turning into this season. Yeah, should easily get over 20 home runs this year.
Think about all the time he's missed.
Yeah.
2 weeks with that emergency appendectomy and almost a full 2 weeks not on the DL, but with that back tightness.
You're talking a month out of his season, and as I said, he's still probably going to get to 20 home runs, you would think, with another month left. He's very close now.
Now with 59 RBIs. 20th allowed by Simon. Ball hit pretty well toward left center field. Hamilton on the move. He won't get there. Russell Martin into second base with a double. Well, you're talking about 3 line drives here. The Lambeau opposite field single, the Walker line drive homer, and this one into the gap in left center.
Well, he's not fooling anybody. The last couple have been really some poor location on some pitches. This is just a little, looked like a cut ball slider maybe. I mean, it was right down the middle, mid-thigh, middle of the plate. Those don't get through the catcher's glove very often. Watch the turn around second. He's like Harrison. He's fun to watch. Motor is always running for him.
Full speed ahead. Now here's Ike Davis. 1 for 3 last night. And takes ball 1 from Alfredo Simon. Davis singled in his last at bat. Mike Leake pitched 7 shutout innings and was in line to get the W, but the Pirates scoring the 2 off Jonathan Broxton in the 8th. Now it's 2-0. Neil Walker now 18 home runs and 59 runs batted in on the season. 2-1 count on Davis. Alfredo Simon's win his last start was his first since the All-Star break. He went to the All-Star game for the first time with a 12-3 record. Rounded to first. A little stumble there by Pena, and his throw almost too far behind Simon covering, but Davis is retired for the second out.
I'm not going to want to show that video to the kids.
No. But the way he handled the ball initially in his throw.
And where was he running to after that? Did he really need to keep running that way?
So. Like somebody was barreling in on him.
Yeah.
Double play.
And then the throw, it looked like he was going to fall on his backside as he was letting it go.
Filling in for Joey Votto, who's on the DL. They had Frazier there last night. Pena, their backup catcher, there today. Russell Martin at third with 2 outs, and here's Starling Marte. Vance Worley put up a 0, and he'll be leading at least 3-0 going to the second. Simon's August has been forgettable. He's anxious for this month to conclude after a great start to this season. In on Marte. His ERA this month is 5.27 as he makes his 6th start this season, or this month rather, and for the season his 27th start. Been in the Phillies organization for a time, signed out of the Dominican. Giants picked him up back in 2004, spent some years with the Rangers, Dodgers, Orioles. And a comebacker to Simon. Tag out Russell Martin, rather Starling Marte, Russell Martin stranded, but the Bucks get 3. as we head to the second. Neil Walker's line drive home run, his 18th of the year.
Is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks!
Early lead here in the middle game of the series. Pirates and Reds. Neil Walker, the long ball. Line drive over the right center field fence. Jeff Pico, the pitching coach, conversation with Alfredo Simon.
Yeah, just make sure everything is physically good. Not much you can say after anything like that. Just have to keep his head screwed on right, try to pick his confidence up.
It is pretty.
It's standard to say at this point, hey, you hold him right there, we'll win this game for you. I mean, I personally have heard that many times, but it's just what you have to do. You got to try and make the starting pitcher feel a little bit comfortable. Try to figure out some kind of a ray of hope that hey, we're okay. We'll just hold him there. I'm sorry, Greg.
No, I was just saying I don't want to question Brian Price, the former pitching coach and now the manager. I mean, he's looking out for these guys. He knows better than anybody. But it is almost unheard of in this day and age that a guy with such little experience in terms of the starting role in 2 previous years would be all of a sudden asked to throw 161 innings. You look at those innings in the past. It's still with a month left.
A month left. Yeah.
All kinds of formulas that organizations use.
Yeah,
many stick to the no more than 25% of the previous innings total the year before, but yeah, everybody's different. Bounce left side. Harrison cuts off Mercer and throws out Mesoraco. Going to check out today's Allegheny Health Network injury update. Joey Votto has been on the disabled list since the beginning of July on the DL with a quad strain. Last week he started running, taking swings, playing catch, but started taking ground balls on Wednesday and still felt some discomfort, so they're going to shut down that part of the program down, and you wonder if Votto is going to return at all this year. Brian Pena, the first baseman today, hitting .259 overall, .274 from this left side of the plate, .209 as a right-handed hitter.
A young fan and a green fan.
That's living right there, huh? Somebody's got the fan. No work. You don't have to do any work. Bounce, tough little hop, but Davis handles it. 2 away. Brian Pena bounces out to Ike Davis. Vance Worley got the double play ball to end the first, gets 2 ground balls to start the second.
That's one thing about Vance. If you want to give somebody an early lead, he's a great candidate to give one to, because he just loves to pitch to contact, try to get quick, easy outs. And when you have a little bit of a cushion, it really makes it so much easier. You're not worried about hanging a pitch and solo home run. You're in one of those tighter ball games, and you have to be a little bit more concerned about how big of a piece that strike zone do you really have to go after, or do you want to go after? Right now, a 3-run lead, you get into that just don't walk anybody mode.
Buccos. 2-1. Bruce 1 for 4 last night, hitting only .218. Oh, thank you, Mr. Knight.
Point Park University strike zone.
Two and 2 on Bruce. 128 strikeouts, the 9th most in the National League. We saw them before the game. Bachelorette party. Rachel's final swing. Ball 3. Three and 2 now on Jay Bruce. Got him. Foul tip. Gave him a 3-0 lead, and he retires the Reds 1-2-3. Head back to 1960 for the Pirates Game 7 World Series win over the Yankees on the next Root Sports Classics. See this game like never before with personal stories from Vernon Law, Bill Vert, and Dick Grote, and the man that hit that game-winning homer, Maz, Bill Mazeroski. 1960 World Series Game 7. Maz makes history Wednesday at 7 on Root Sports Classics. Strike on Mercer, Jordy Mercer. 2 out of 10 on this homestand. 1 for 3 last night. 8th in the order. crowd applauded when the scoreboard crew flashed the Cardinals score. Cubs leading St. Louis 5-1. Game 1 of their day-night doubleheader in St. Louis. They're in the bottom of the 8th. Cubs are going to be
they're getting better
tough
second half.
Tough to handle, and the Pirates will be heading on the road following the homestand finale tomorrow. Game 1, 5-1 Chicago. The Pirates will be in Chicago next weekend. Labor Day matinee game this Monday in St. Louis. Mercer is retired by Frazier. One down, it'll bring up Vance Worley. So the Reds, who have struggled since the All-Star break, really kind of mirrors what has gone on with Alfredo Simon. Tough second half. I was going to say swimming uphill, but upstream, I mean. Strike. Since the All-Star break, Redlegs, who were 51-44 at the break, have gone 14-26 since. 0-2 on Worley.
A lot of off-season decisions to be made, I think, Cincinnati.
Brandon Phillips, all kind of rumors that he was going to be traded last winter. Worley down on strikes.
They had a lot of injuries, but so did everybody else. I think that there probably is a little bit of a tendency in Cincinnati to maybe say, well, we're all right. It is got to be healthier next year, but I don't know, that might be a little bit of a trap.
Josh Harrison, among National League leadoff hitters, 59 games batting first. This is where he ranks.
First, when you hit first, you should rank first.
How about scoring 43 runs in 59 games? Just everything. And he came in to this game second in the league in hitting, 3 points behind Justin Morneau for the lead in the batting race.
But the defensive play he made last night on the ball that got away from Mercer.
Saved that run.
Shallow left field, and he ran out there, picked it up, and made a great throw home.
Threw out the runner, Brandon Phillips.
Just heads up moves.
And look at Bob. I mean, how about the first 2 swings? Can you break this down? The first 2 swings, he looks awful.
Well, he's a little bit, of a, go up there and take your hacks type guy.
Throwback guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to go up there and have all these scientific plans. He told us a couple of weeks ago that he really isn't going up there and looking for this or that. I'm looking for fastballs, is what he said. I want to hit the fastball, and hopefully I can adjust to some other things. And when he gets something other than that fastball, he is going to look a little, out of sorts on a swing or two.
First 2 slow breaking balls in the dirt, looked like he swung and missed badly, and then on that 0-2 pitch, whacks it into center field.
That was a pitch. Also, it was a bad pitch. It was up a little bit in the zone, but I did ask him about the difference he makes when he goes to 2 strikes. Do you really change it? And he said, no, I'm still looking fastball with 2 strikes. He goes, I might be thinking about more hitting the fastball through the middle so that I'm not too quick. So it'll be easier for me to make that adjustment on something slow. But his key is to go up there, get his swings, and never get off the fastball.
Takes off on the pitch. The throw is in time to get him. Close play, but a good throw from Mesoraco. Cozart applies the tag, and Harrison is caught stealing for the final out in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Here on the North Shore, I'm Robbie Mikowski. Last night, Mark Melancon came in firing BBs and earned the save against the Reds. And a couple days ago, it was the Sporting Clays Invitational for the Pirates, the 6th annual, held at Seven Springs Mountain Resort. Greg Brown, along with other Pirates players, front office execs, everybody all participated in the action, including Nick Leyva and the aforementioned Pirates closer. Now, Bob Nutting, he is an elite shooter, and he won the event, but Mark Melancon finished second, just 2 points shy of the Pirates owner. Now, Mark told me it was an awesome day, but his goal was to beat Bob Nutting, and that he has something to work for toward next season. He said this was actually the 3rd time that Melancon has shot clays this season. He took his family on 2 previous off days out to Seven Springs and had a little practice. All the proceeds from the event benefits the varied efforts of Pirates charity. So, Greg, it's always a great day at the Sporting Clays Invitational out in Seven Springs.
So Mark Melancon's goal is to beat Bob Nutting. Well, that'll be, well, he came close this year.
Practice.
Good luck.
You got to do.
And you know Mark Melancon.
Oh, yeah.
You know the way he operates.
Yeah.
You know he's going to set a goal.
Right?
You know he's going to practice and really go for it next year.
That should be quite a showdown next summer. Head to the 3rd inning. And bottom 3rd of the order, Zach Cozart, Skip Schumacher, and Alfredo Simon. Cozart 0 for 3 last night. Hitting 180 this season against Pirates pitching. He has walked just 19 times unintentionally all season long. Worley falls behind him 2-0. Worley walked Frazier in the 1st. Pop them up. Mike Davis takes care of Cozart. Want to see how you root for your Pittsburgh Pirates? Show us how you root for your Buccos by submitting your picture via Twitter. Use the hashtag BucksFanPhoto, and we'll show them during our broadcast. Hashtag BucksFanPhoto, our AT&T fan photo of the day. How about this? What we got going here? Have to keep an eye on that, Bob. What are they trying to coordinate?
Big Scrabble game.
Yeah.
I think they're going to spell McCutcheon.
Okay. I saw a G in there, so I don't know what that would be used for. Go McCutcheon.
Yeah.
There it is. Maybe J. Hay.
See an O next to that G. I think you got something there. Maybe go something. Go J. Hay, I guess.
Skip Schumacher with a 2-2 count. 34-year-old veteran from Torrance, California, former 5th-round pick of the Cardinals. Signed as a free agent this winter by Cincinnati. Meanwhile, Vance Worley was picked up just toward the very end of spring training from the Minnesota Twins. A miserable first year in the American League last year. He went 1-5 with a 7.21 ERA. Spent time in their minor leagues. 3-2 now on Schumacher. He was their opening day starter last year for the Twins. This year they were going to make him a reliever. He wasn't thrilled with that idea, and He was more than thrilled to hear the news he was coming to Pittsburgh, and strike 3 call.
Got him looking away. Everything was on the outside part of the strike zone, or actually off the plate. And then the last one, he sneaks it on the inside corner and catches him looking.
Perfecta. Now Alfredo Simon. Strike 1. Worley won 11 games 3 years ago with the Phillies. Went 11-3 with a 3.01 ERA. Out in front, 0-2 on Alfredo Simon, who took that big swing. Strike 3 call. 4 strikeouts for Vance Worley. He's faced the minimum through his first 3 innings.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Impala and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Labor Day sale, save 50% and get MLB.com at bat premium features for only $4.99. Follow every Pirates game with live look-ins, replay reviews, live radio broadcast, the MLB.TV game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store. Sale ends soon. Visit pirates.com/mobile today. Andrew Lambeau. Yeah.
First
Take off
blood
on Rambo. Rambo was at the plate when Harrison was caught stealing in the second.
Oh, Rambo would have made a nice Pirate. Got the little bandana around the head.
Oh, we did have a Rambo as a Pirate. Mike Diaz
Was a good Pirate for a while. Remember the poster?
Oh, yeah.
They
He
made
set up. He put they put the bandana around him.
Oh yeah, he had the bandolier of baseballs. Yeah, that was quite a little poster. Big poster.
Lambeau fly ball to right field toward the track, and Bruce makes the catch. A little breeze that way, and he didn't certainly get all of it, but Lambeau, you know, this is a guy that the Pirates had tabbed to be the platoon partner with Gabby Sanchez coming into this season, and it was just a miserable spring training. Lambeau was disappointed and surprised that he was sent down before the end of spring training, optioned to the minors. He got hurt just as the Pirates were ready to call him up. Been kind of a long year for him. McCutchen walked in the first.
I love it.
That is great. That is good.
Is that 20 to 22 varieties?
That is great. I think they're going to give Hines an idea. Check swing foul.
Well, he plays every game with that ketchup bottle right behind him.
Yeah. Catch up. How about that? The dreads on the top of the bottle, the helmet. That is very clever. Got that at the sign store.
I was going to say the sign store outdid themselves with that one.
Yes, he did. Goes down on strikes. Second K for Simon. 2 up and 2 down in the third. Now Neil Walker hit the line drive homer in the first inning. Here it is. 2 aboard, 1 out. '18th of the season. Strike 1. Career high in homers.
Whoa. Wiffle ball.
Yeah.
65 on that one. It's a nice cape.
Yeah. 2 and 1.
Good day for a cape.
Do you think the Pirate fans are the most decked out, dressed up in all of baseball? They have to.
Yeah, it has.
They love playing with the Pirate moniker, nickname.
Yeah. That's true. You see a lot of them just flat out. It's like, let's dress like a Pirate day.
Broken bat, fly ball to Bruce. The Pirates go down in order. But after 3, it's 3-0. Buccos. shots from the Allegheny Health Network Supermode to the sounds of A Day to Remember. They're coming to Stage AE on Thursday. Pirates will be on the road for quite a while, trying to improve on their home record, already tied with the Washington Nationals for the most home victories in the National League. And they'll look to keep it going on the road as they head to St. Louis, Chicago, and Philadelphia. 10 games before the final regular season homestand, which starts Friday night, September the 12th. Vance Worley, second time around for him. Will face Billy Hamilton, Todd Frazier, and Brandon Phillips.
Now, since you said please, why not?
Strike on Billy Hamilton. Billy Hamilton, 2 years ago, 155 stolen bases, professional baseball record. In the air, they don't want that from Billy Hamilton.
I remember the first time I heard that number, Greg, I thought it was like for his career in the minor leagues.
You're thinking, how? Yeah. You still wonder how in the world anybody could steal that many bases, even attempt as many as he did. 192 attempts.
How do you get on that much?
Yeah.
We're talking a short season too. It's only 5 months.
Right.
It's not a 6-month season. It's just astounding to think of that number of steals.
Clint Hurdle was talking about that. Said he was lucky enough to have played with two of the better base stealers and fastest players in the game in that era. Willie Wilson with the Kansas City Royals, and later Vince Coleman with the St. Louis Cardinals. 2-0 on Frazier, who walked in the first. And Clint Hurdle admitted that, yeah, if you let it, it can play on your mind as a pitcher. He said they always have the pre-series meetings. And he said words are important because we tell the pitching staff if he gets on, not when he gets on, if he gets on. We'll take it from there. In fact, he said, you know, we had a pitch out called. Jeff Bannister boldly called a pitch out last night, but the pitch ran in, and Russell Martin not able to get a great throw off because of that. Otherwise, they would have nailed Hamilton. 3-1 now on Todd Frazier. And of course, what a job Russell Martin has done all year, controlling that running game. Hit pretty well toward left center field. Back is Marte, and this one is going to be way gone. Over the 410 sign, past the notch. That was crushed.
Yeah, Marte gave it a little run. I was watching McCutchen. I don't think he took a step. He just turned and looked back there at it. He knew where that one was going to land.
23rd for Frazier. Reds on the board.
Ball was down about knee high. It's kind of golfed it out of here. But you see McCutchen over in center field never moved. He knew that was well out. But that's the kind of thing that will happen when you get a big lead and you're challenging the hitters, going after them. Somebody with power might catch up to you and hit one out. It's no big deal. Solo home run.
Well, the catch this fan makes, one-handed, reaches back, drink still in hand. That's a heck of a play.
He only had one hand to go for the ball with.
Yep.
Great play.
Roller, Walker. Takes care of Phillips. Let's go to Rob King, the studio, for a game break. Rob, thank you. Cubs keep winning, playing good baseball, while the Cardinals drop another. And you have to wonder about what they're going to do with Justin Masterson. Talk is that Michael Wacha is close to returning. Masterson was acquired from Cleveland before the deadline. ERA coming in today as a Cardinal for Masterson was 7.43 in 5 starts.
Yeah, I wonder if all those acquisitions, trade deadline acquisitions, how many, what's the percentage actually turn out as a positive move for their teams?
That's a great question.
Because the reason I even think about this is we talk about it constantly when going up to the trade deadline, and a lot of them just don't ever work out.
Yeah.
Do nothing for you.
It seems like the vast majority either do nothing for you or don't work out. Todd Frazier's home run gets the Reds on the board. It's 3-1.
Group of people trying to put a big sign together, and Greg, I did some heavy, hard-hitting investigative reporting, and I found Dale and Jeff and Dale here. He's from Texas, she's from Clarion, PA. They just got married yesterday. Congratulations to the both of you. Now you have Dale, you have 60 of your closest family and friends that made this sign for you. What do you think of all this?
It's awesome. We're so excited to be here. Go Bucks. We just wanted to bring our friends here to have a great time at the ballpark today.
Great day after away. Now I'm going to show you exactly what they coordinated. Everybody stand up. We're going to see what they did. It says, congratulations, Dale and Jeff just got married.
Whoa, look at that.
A cheer. How about that?
That's unbelievable.
Most people have a breakfast or a brunch buffet. This might take the cake right here.
My word.
How about that?
That is
all the
impressive.
things we see at a ballpark, Greg and Bob, this has got to be up there. You have some really good friends and family,
No,
Dale.
they're awesome. We're so psyched they could be here. A lot of people traveled a long way, so it's awesome.
Did you know they were going to pull this one off?
I did not know about the signs, no, but it's pretty cool.
And now it's on TV.
It is forever and ever.
Ever and ever.
Thanks to Jeff and Dale and Robbie, great work. Now we'll ask them to rearrange the letters to spell out Go McCutchen and Jay Hay. If they would, take a couple of innings.
They got enough letters there. They can come up with a lot of combinations before this game's over.
Russell Martin, who had sent a long foul deep enough over the Clemente wall, but again foul, strikes out. Third K for Simon.
Hey, remember that the conversation that we saw in the dugout after the first inning? I was just speculating that, and I've been on the other end of that. It's, relax, everything's okay. We'll hold him there. We're going to win this ball game. And now you look and see how he's pitching. He's put up 3 zeros. Got the first out here. That is one of the big keys to being a starting pitcher, because so many times it does happen to you that something will happen early on, and you got to learn to just bend and go with it a little bit, but don't break. Because if you can stay out there for 6 or 7 innings and give up those 3 runs, most of the time you're going to win the ball game. And it doesn't matter if the 3 runs came in the 5th inning or the 1st inning or whenever, but that's your goal.
He has retired 8 of the last 9 and faced the minimum.
And so now the goal of the Pirates, and they haven't been able to do it right now, anytime you get off to that lead, you have to add on. And we're not talking about another crooked number, but a single here, a single there, and that keeps the momentum going your way and breaks what the starting pitcher is trying to do, Simon in this case. Pirates have to figure out a way to put another run on the board, whether it's a solo home run, something. You got to put another mark up.
Frazier's home run gets the Reds on the board. Foul past Rick Sofield, and it stays 1 ball 2 strikes on Ike Davis. Played the hero in back-to-back games. Wins over the Cardinals. We were talking last night that it does seem just about every night somebody else is playing the hero, though we kind of admitted that if this were a mini series, that the star actor involved in each episode would be Josh Harrison, and along the way you have some supporting actors that play roles in these wins. Edinson Volquez last night along with Jay Hay. Bounce to first. 2 outs. Kids Day tomorrow. Bucks Reds 1:35. All kids take home one of these Starling Marte replica batting practice jerseys. It's presented by Eden Park. Come early for the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street before the game and after the game. Kids are invited to run the bases. Presented by Kennywood. For tickets, go to pirates.com. All youngsters get one of those Starling Marte BP jerseys.
Let's go Bucks! Let's go Bucks! All right, let's go Bucks!
Yeah, once again, a lot of youngsters on hand here. As Marte steps to the plate, he bounced to Simon, his first time up. 95. Ball 1. One and 1 on Marte. Last 21 games hitting at a .355 clip. Souvenir time.
I never get tired of seeing the reactions of fans that get foul balls.
The best.
Absolutely love them.
Look at this. We got to take a picture of it. Instagram it. Hashtag Bucks fan photo, remember. Don't just send these photos to your friends. Send them to us.
Yeah.
Please. I want to see what you're sending out.
Whichever one usually we get a couple up that the gypsies downstairs like. They'll put it up on the screen. They pick their favorites every day, every night.
Down on strikes goes Marte. And Alfredo Simon is on the roll now.
You gave me a homework assignment last inning, and you know whenever you guys tell me to do something, being the low man on the totem pole, I don't ask questions. I just go and do it. You want us to do something creative, so here's what we came up with the letters. So stand up, everybody, right here. You said to make a sign, so we got Go Jay. But here's the problem. We don't have a Y. So you know what we do? We make do with what we have. I have 8-year-old Anna here.
Oh, there we go. There's a Y.
Well done.
She's creating the Y right here. So we got Go Jay out of that. How's that, all right?
That's outstanding. Could she get up on the
Great
chair?
job, Robbie.
I hate to ask you that, but
Could she get what?
up on the chair.
Okay.
She allowed to stand up on that chair. Can you help her up? Be careful, please.
There she is.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, there it's perfect.
Now we got it.
That's great.
Go Jay. Now, I don't know what else you want me to do.
We said go Kutch and Jay, but that's good.
This was a lot of effort to even get this
I can imagine.
Can I get you guys coffee or water or soda or anything? Any other homework assignments I have?
Sure.
Okay. This is great stuff right here. How about that? 60 family and friends come up and make a sign for you like that. What a great day they're having here.
Impressive on your part, Robbie. The Vanna White of Root Sports telecast.
I can do it. We have a J, H, A, and a human Y.
Excellent work. There's another one, Whirly Bird. Again, congratulations to Jeff and Dale and all those friends.
How about the pressure now? They got to win this game.
Oh man!
To really make this just a great day.
Yeah.
I know that they want to win now bad. Can you imagine looking back at this, say 25 years from now, seeing all this?
Swing and a miss. How about a day later? Let alone 25 years later.
Yeah, 25 years. You take a look at all of this. It's going to be a neat memory. All the family and friends.
Like all
there.
the memories you store up and you get out of the attic.
Yeah.
Every so often. All the photos, all the memorabilia.
Oh, all of mine are on the Super 8 film.
Hey, what was the story? Tell the story about you were. There was a video. The game was on in the background at somebody's house.
Oh, it was.
What was that?
That was
Tommy.
Tommy was like, I don't know how old he was. He was very small. He was 6, 7 years old. He was at
your son Tommy
somebody's birthday party, and the Pirate game happened to be on TV. You could hear it running in the background. The dad's got one of those video cameras, you know, the old ones you sit on your shoulder, and he's doing the kids, and then all of a sudden he starts zooming in on the TV, and he goes, "Hey, look, Tommy, your dad's up at the plate. He's hitting." And so they zoom in on it, and at that moment was when I hit my one and only Major League home run.
So unbelievable. We have got to see that video.
It's in the box up in the attic. We'll get it. Yeah.
So we can show it.
Yep, we'll find it.
So we can all believe this tale. That's incredible.
And I always used to. I used to always get on Lanny about it because it was something for me to get him with. Because as I hit it, he was saying happy birthday to somebody.
That could happen to any of us.
Which we do. Usually when a pitcher is hitting, that's when we do our birthdays. So
nobody was better at knowing that protocol than Lanny, right? He taught us. Oh, that just missed. But Brian Pena draws a leadoff walk against Vance Worley, who has fallen behind a handful of batters, but he's given up just the one hit so far, and that was the home run to Frazier. That's the second free pass.
I brought that up to Lanny so many times. At one time, he said, "Okay,
enough."
That does. Yeah, he says, "Bring it in. We're going to redo the audio, and I'm going to give you my best go ball get out of here that you have ever heard of." So, but I know it's there somewhere. I'll have to.
You've got to do that because that would be fun.
There's several boxes up there with all those old tapes and stuff from when the kids were little. You have to spend the day going through it. We'll find it.
Line to left, Marte, and the out recorded. A line drive out sends Pena back to first. Hey, we're talking about memories. Our day automotive this day in Pirates history is on this day in 2006. Pirates score 3 in the bottom of the 11th, beat the Cubs. Freddie Sanchez walk-off 2-run single. Gave him 4 RBIs on the day. Each team had 20 hits in the game. The Pirates beat the Cubs 10-9. A day to remember for sure. Brought to you by Day Automotive. Bunt, third baseline foul. Zach Cozart trying to bunt for a hit. Now the rotunda. Just another fabulous spot from which to watch a ball game here at PNC Park.
I love stopping there in the rotunda for a little bit, Greg. And after the ball games, I'm walking over there to go do the radio post game. It's such a neat spot to just sit, take it all in, especially after a win. People still kind of milling around a little bit as they're leaving the ballpark. Everything always looks so beautiful from that rotunda.
Cozart, a fly ball to right. Lambeau. And 2 down after the leadoff walk brings up Skip Schumacher. We want to send along a speedy recovery to our buddy Steve Young, who's watching today from a hospital bed. Get off the DL, Steve. See you soon. Best wishes to Steve Young. Big time Bucco fan. Skip Schumacher struck out looking in the 3rd. Bounce to Harrison. To second. Leadoff walk doesn't hurt Worley. Halfway through it. Bucks up by a couple. Press conference Tuesday on Root Sports. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin takes the podium first, live at noon, followed by Pitt's Paul Christ at 1, and WVU head coach Dana Holgerson at 1:30. Press conference Tuesday, every Tuesday, starting at noon on Root Sports. It is 3-1 going to the bottom of the 5th inning here at PNC Park.
There's that look again. A little different this time of day. They have that sun starting to set.
And the shadows creeping across the field now.
Normally we're still an hour and a half or so from game time.
Well, this is a BP time for the visitors right about now. Mercer pops this one up. Mesoraco. First out, and now Simon has set down 11 of the last 12 Pirates he's faced. Gave up that 3-run homer to Walker, the Martin double, then retired the next 2. Gave up a 2-out single to Josh Harris, but he was caught stealing.
And you can see the shadows of those light towers. Remember when the game started, they were just creeping over the foul line. PNC Park's like a giant sundial, isn't it? The way Manny mows the outfield, you could use those as your markers to see what time it is.
That is a foul ball, just foul. And Swirly already with 1 double.
A little bit of a sun field right now looking in.
It's 5 strikeouts for Simon. 2 up and 2 down here in the 5th inning. September 19th, first ever Fan Vote Free Shirt Friday presented by FedEx. All the power in your hands. Just go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. Vote for your favorite shirt via Twitter. Voting ends next Friday. Get to PNC Park September 19th. See if your favorite is the winner. Which one is your favorite, Bob?
I haven't decided. I'm going to have to think that one up a little bit. Not sure. You got a favorite picked out?
I like them both. Don't have a favorite yet either. Favorite parrot dolls for both.
I guess I just like them both equally.
Yeah. I'm glad I don't have to vote. Let's put it that way.
I would have to get some direction as to which way to vote. I think I could find some advice at home, maybe.
Breaking pitch. Harrison singled in the 2nd. 5-game hitting streak going for him. How about that? Keeping a lookout.
Bullpen fan. See the shark?
Two and 1 with 2 outs and nobody on. As all of a sudden, Alfredo Simon has figured the Pirates out. Retiring 12 of the last 13. And he takes care of Josh Harrison. But the Bucs still up by a couple.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Angry Orchard Hard Cider. Branch out. By Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Mattress. Located in all Levin furniture showrooms and freestanding stores. Let's go Bucks!
Here in Pittsburgh, the Pirates lead 3-1 going to the 6th inning. Broncos get that 3-run homer from Neil Walker in the 1st inning, and then Todd Frazier homered in the 4th. That has been it, as Alfredo Simon has settled down. Meanwhile, through 5, Vance Worley has allowed just the 1 run on that 1 hit. Has walked a couple, and he'll face Alfredo Simon to lead things off.
Well, this is the situation you love to have. Get that pitcher leading off an inning. Little problem there after the end of the pierogi race.
A little dust up, huh?
Yeah.
Cheese Chester confronting Potato Pete at the end.
I think
they had words.
They challenged him to a match race or something
after the game, before the Gavin DeGraw concert.
Really?
Yeah. Cheese Chester against Potato Pete. I was wondering, Bob, between innings as we were watching the race and as Potato Pete was introduced, has he always been so vilified? And a high throw, but no problem for Ike Davis as Simon is retired. Josh Harrison on to Davis, 1 up and 1 down.
Before he retired, he was known as a very rough racer.
Oh, okay. Now that I didn't know.
You know, not anything like he's been pulling off these last couple of weeks, so where he is really. He's gotten out of hand, I think. I'll be surprised if even if he wins the match race, if they bring him back, because he's gotten too rough with the other racers, the other pierogies.
He certainly isn't very well liked amongst the crowd. They booed him vociferously. Bunt try, bare hand, no. Harrison came up empty, and a bunt single for Billy Hamilton.
Jay Hay really upset with himself. See the way he picked up that ball, just laying on the ground, and gave it back to Vance. I mean, he's way in on the grass, so he knows even though Hamilton can fly, he's still got a shot at it. It was a great bunt, really. Just didn't get those fingers down through that grass underneath the ball.
Hamilton, again, 53 steals. Caught 19 times. Line drive, caught by Mercer. Nicely done by Jordy Mercer. Ball was spanked by Frazier.
That ball hit very hard. Mercer able to make a real quick move to his left. Sometimes those, the ones that are hit like that, they don't have a whole lot of spin on them, and so they might be knuckling a little. Quick step and throw, saw the ball was caught, able to get back. You got to believe he's going to be running really early here, right?
You would think so. There's one throw over.
He just never gets flat-footed. He just keeps moving towards second the entire time he's leading off.
Stolen base leaders. He has been caught 19 times, the most in the league.
Watch his feet. He just keeps on moving.
Always creeping.
Keeps on moving. He's got a little cuff or something that he wears on his fingers to protect him when he slides.
Not the oven mitt.
That's just kind of like a little like a coffee cup or something he put upside down on his hand.
There he goes. Taken for a ball. Throw down by Martin. Right on the money. They got him. There's the sniper again. Billy Hamilton thinks he is safe. Here comes Brian Price. Hamilton is not moving from second. He thinks he either beat it or that the tag was missed. I think he's going to be out.
I think he's going to be out.
Challenge it.
Nope.
Looked like he got the upside down coffee cup. Maybe tagged it.
There's the tag. Well before he got to the bag. Nothing to look at here. Move along.
That's right. Nothing to see. Go on. Move on. This season, it is the 5th time that the Pirates have gotten him. Bob, you're talking about how he keeps
it keeps moving, never really gets flat-footed. But the throw was right there on the money, plenty of time. The tag's on him right now, and you can see he had another 6-7 inches to go before he was able to get the protective device onto the back. The sniper.
Look at him watching it the whole way, and that's it. My work here is done.
Didn't get all excited about it. Just okay, yeah, he's out. Time to go back to the dugout.
Back to work offensively, trying to get something done here. Get another on the board against Simon. Tapped right side and foul. You haven't seen that before, have you?
Looking a little scruffy that day, aren't I? There's Take.
Walk hard and Kentacolva. Kentacolvi. I don't know where that came from. Back to the what was it, Paul Tagliabue moment I had earlier this year. What was it? No, I said Bowie Kuhn instead. Look at that, Bob's reaction.
Yeah, that's what I looked like when I heard you say Bowie Kuhn.
What?
Uh-huh.
What'd you say?
What?
Tapped. Simon off the mound. That takes care of Lambeau. Whatever Jeff Pico said to Simon certainly has worked. Now they're checking to see if they twist something there. There's Rocco out there to check on him.
And nobody else is moving. I think he's okay. Big man, what'd you say? Goes about 270?
Yeah.
He's just stretching that back out a little bit. He'll be fine.
McCutchen to third. Frazier throws him out. Take a look at the AT&T fan photo of the night. Neil Walker's home run ball. And earlier in this ball game, that was the first inning 3-run homer.
Right about where it landed.
Thanks, Kelly, for tweeting that out to us. Walker the home run, and last time up a broken bat fly out to right. Merrill, league leaders, most single season homers all time. The Pirates, second baseman Bill Mazeroski with 19 in 1958. Walker's 18th came with Lambo and McCutchen aboard, 1 out in the first. Made it 3-0. Todd Frazier homered off of Worley in the fourth. Well, Alfredo Simon has set down 15 of the last 16 Buccos. Look at what he did his last time out against Atlanta. And now here today, a couple of bounce back starts for Simon. 3-1. He's walked just one.
Well, the velocity was up there pretty good today. I haven't looked up there in a while, but he was hitting 96 with several of his fastballs about the second, third inning. The stat sheet looks like he's wearing down, but doesn't really look like it this afternoon.
Wow. 7 strikeouts for Alfredo Simon. Vance Worley has had to match him since that first. in that first inning, it looked as though this was going to be, if not a Pirate laugher, certainly the offense was going to be busting out. Maybe.
Yeah, I talked about how we're going to get to a big lead, then we can enjoy it, cruise a little bit. Well, hasn't been like that. Been a pitcher's duel. It's nice having a little bit of a cushion, a couple of runs, but still, this game's anything but decided. 3 innings left.
So Vance Worley, the 3, 4, 5 men in the order, Phillips, Mesoraco, and Pena. He has given up 2 hits, the home run by Frazier and the bunt single by Billy Hamilton. Phillips has put the ball on the ground twice, hit into a first inning double play, and grounded to second.
Vance has been very efficient to this point. He has 75 pitches thrown through the first 6.
Pirates are going to activate their bullpen right away. Any sign of trouble? Justin Wilson gets ready. Strike 1-1 on Phillips. Returned Monday off the disabled list. Torn left thumb ligament. Tore that ligament on July the 11th. Full house. Expect the same tomorrow. Pirates and Reds conclude the series. Pirates hoping to hang on here. A chance for a sweep. 2-2.
UPMC Sports Medicine Strike Zone shows you that ball was just a little bit outside. That's one where you wonder, Greg, how does the hitter take that with 2 strikes?
Hit well toward right center field. Long run for McCutchen, but he uses those great legs, the speed to get there. Ball started out, looked as though it might be extra bases for Phillips.
It's going to move away from McCutchen also. That ball slicing a little bit. So it moves through the catch-up to the ball.
It's the catch-up. Allegheny Health Network Super Mo. One away. Here's Mesoraco. Pirates go back to that shift with 3 infielders on the left side. Don Mattingly employed a shift with 4 infielders on the right side last night. I believe Seth Smith was at the plate, and he brought everybody over between first and second. A strike called, and Mesoraco unhappy. Brian Knight calling the balls and strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. What do you think of, Bob, the shift? 4 infielders on the right side. How about that?
Oh, that's a great idea.
You like that?
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think you should bring in an outfielder or two, too. Also add them to the line there.
The bases were loaded.
Like a bucket line or something.
There's a ground ball to the second baseman. Look out. That goes sailing toward the Pirates bench. One ball, 2 strikes on Mesoraco.
Even the umpires are fans of Jay Hay.
Cincinnati's own
That uniform needs a lot of soap every night.
Backyard ball player. Still talking with the field and Colbreth. Another 1-2 pitch. And another foul ball from Mesoraco. One ball, 2 strikes. Looking for the pitch that will get Mesoraco. Martin tried to buy it. 2-2.
Look good.
Quite a battle.
Yeah.
2-2.
I mean, the pitches have been all over the place. It's not like there's a spot they haven't tried.
That's Mesoraco on the 2-2 pitch. Mesoraco was hit in his first at bat against Edinson Volquez last night.
Take that back. There was one spot they hadn't thrown one yet. But that didn't work either. Tough kid, isn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't react at all. It's like it bounced off a statue.
Volquez got him last night. Here is Brian Pena.
Hasn't been an issue with us in the Reds this year. In the past, the hit batsman always seems to flare, but not this season.
Line drive foul. Reynolds ducks out of the way and a nice play.
They're the best in baseball. Nobody plays defense like the ball girls here at PNC Park. Might have to compare them to Jay Hay as far as making the tough plays.
Yes. And past third. Pena goes the other way, and it's first and second with one away here. Jay Bruce, the left-handed hitter, is coming to the plate. Wilson is ready, and here comes Clint Hurdle.
A little breaking ball that was coming in the back door, and you sent it right back out.
Worley goes 6 1/3. Just 3 hits. Another start where a Pirate goes at least 6 innings and leaves with a strong ovation. They hand it over to the bullpen.
broadcast is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Pirates up 3-1, but the Reds have runners at first and second with one out in the top of the 7th inning. College students get up to $10 off Pirate tickets for the rest of the season. Bring your friends to cheer on the Buccos. Go to pirates.com/student and see the eligible game dates. And again, receive up to $10 off Pirate tickets for college students. Here we go now with Wilson against Bruce.
Wilson pitched more games this year than last. This will be a kind of uncharted territory for him going into the last month of the season. Last year, just 58 ball games. Saw there the first line. He's thrown 59. This is number 60.
Bruce has struck out and lined to left. Got him. Big time punch out for Justin Wilson to get Bruce for the second out.
Greg, I think that was the cutter, the cut fastball. And this is a dandy. Just off the plate a little bit, got that little late movement away from Bruce. But because it's just a cut fastball, it still maintains that good velocity up there at 92 miles an hour.
Here is Zach Cozart with 2 on and 2 outs. Fouls it out of play. Bruce talking about how difficult a time this has been for him. Says it's the most embarrassing year of his life. The other day struck out 5 times in 5 at bats against the Cubs. Strikes out for the 2nd time tonight and has also lined out. Cozart has fouled to first and flied to right. Mesoraco and Pena aboard. And a pop-up. Shallow right. Davis out and drops the ball. You could see that coming. You could see that coming. Nobody taking charge, and it's 3-2 on what should have been, without question, an easy final out. It is 3-2.
Hey, you're right, Greg. I think that nobody, just started saying, hey, I got it, and took over. Nobody takes ownership of this. And I think Ike, right the last moment, decides, I got to stick my glove out there. Watch him make a little lunge. He's not sure where anybody else is at. That's not the way a guy would go after a ball if he's the one yelling, I got it. I just don't think anybody was.
Error on the first baseman, and now it's a 1-run game. As Justin Wilson tries to put that moment behind him, knowing he and his teammates should be in the dugout. The Pirates have committed 97 errors this season. It's the most in the league. The Reds have committed the fewest. Couple of strikes on Schumacher. Justin Wilson basically had to get 3 outs. An unearned run close the book on Worley, who pitches 6 1/3, gives up just 1 earned, while Wilson gets the last 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. 7th inning stretch time here at PNC Park for the Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds, playing the middle game of this 3-game series. Pirates lead is now 1, as the Buccos will be coming to bat in the bottom half of the inning.
On Root Sports, as we sing "Take Me Out to
Tune in every Friday this fall as some of the region's best high school athletes and teams battle in the hopes to make their way to the Whitfield Championships. The action kicks off when the North Allegheny Tigers host the Pine Richland Rams, live Friday at 7:30 on Root Sports. 3-2 ball game.
That's a big one. Tigers Rams.
Oh, they're talking about the Buccos Reds. Yeah, that's a big game also. Yeah. Russell Martin leads off against Alfredo Simon. Martin has doubled and struck out. Simon has set down 12 straight, 16 of 17. Two balls, one strike.
Simon didn't like the feel of that baseball. Wanted a new one. Didn't even throw it back to the umpire. Rolled it in the dugout. Doesn't ever want to see that one again.
Three and one.
I always hated it when I changed balls and the umpire just put the ball I throw in right back in his old sack. I know I'm going to get that one back. And he knows he's going to throw it back to me, and it's going to be a challenge now for me to figure out which one it is. Say I don't like it again. Because you know the next time you get it, it's going to feel exactly like the rest of them.
Tony Watson up in the Bucco bullpen.
It's all set up for the 8th and 9th. Nice job by Wilson. That little hard cutter slider was working well to the lefties today.
And a broken bat there. Still 3-2 on Russell Martin. Martin, Davis, Marte. 5, 6, 7 in the order. 88 degrees at game time. The heat of a pennant race in Pittsburgh. The Cardinals lost game 1 of their day-night doubleheader at home to the Cubs 5-1. The Brewers are taking on the Giants tonight. Mike fires against Jake Peavy. Atlanta hosting the Marlins tonight. Aaron Harang will start for the Braves. Bucks just 3 back of Milwaukee in the Central. And a game and a half behind the Cardinals for second in the division. Another foul. This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat.
Well, you don't want these long at-bats now when you're that guy there.
A little like Worley versus the Reds catcher Mesoraco in the top of this inning. Mesoraco ended up getting hit by a pitch.
So he started the inning at 75 pitches, remember? And then by the time he came out, he'd only gotten 1 out, and he was like 95, 96, somewhere right in that area. So this is the time you want so much to try and be efficient.
Line foul on the 9th at bat, and another nice pick on the other end.
Absolutely the best. They missed nothing.
She thought that was funny.
I think somebody had told her what a nice play that was. She said thank you a couple of times.
Martin, quite a battle, and ends the string of hitters retired against Simon.
Well, hopefully this will go the same way that went for the Reds when Mesoraco got in. It'll lead to a run. Free pass is a free pass, whether it's base on ball or you're hitting.
Davis has twice grounded out to the first baseman Pena. But this will be the first time that he's come to the plate where Pena has had to hold a runner. So that hole opens up on the right side. That's how they defend Ike Davis.
Playing him a pole over on the left side of the infield, kind of straight up on the right, straight up in the outfield.
Takes ball 1.
Only 2 players that have really moved out of position at all are shortstop, third baseman.
Reds start loosening Jumbo Diaz. Tabata grabs a bat. And now 2-0, and Mesoraco will talk with Alfredo Simon.
Now we know Ike, most of his at-bats, he's not going to do the pitcher any favors. If you're not going to throw him a strike, he'll say, okay, well, I'm not swinging. Not going to help you out.
And Jeff Pico will also head out to the hill. Price on the telephone to the bullpen.
Anytime you see the bullpen communication going at the same time as a visit, you know that visit is at least partially to just make sure you kill enough time so that the bullpen can be ready for the next hitter.
Center field, sending Hamilton back a few steps. Martin will tag, and he will head to third as the throw is cut off by Phillips. Russell Martin advances 90 feet.
The engine's always running. Not a lot of catchers are going to tag up on a fly ball to center field and go to second base.
Simon reacts like, why? Why would Phillips cut that off? What purpose does that serve?
No reason whatsoever. I mean, I don't think they were going to get him anyway.
No, but
yeah. Why?
Why cut it off? They appeal, and first base umpire says, nope, he didn't leave early. A chance to get that important run back. Martin advancing on the fly ball by Davis to Billy Hamilton. Marte bounces it to third, backhanded by Frazier. On to first. 2 outs in the 7th. Up to Jordy Mercer. Heck of a job by Simon. Really bouncing back.
Good impressive start. It kind of actually it reminds me of the way that Worley has pitched a couple of times recently, where he's had trouble in that first inning and then put up a nice string of zeros to allow the team to get back in the ball game for a victory, and that's what Simon has done. Just a one-run ball game because of he didn't throw in the towel early on after that horrible first inning. Went out there and did his job. And the Pirates would love to finally add a run to those 3 they put up in the first.
Jordy Mercer. Ready to throw his 95th pitch. Jose Tabata on deck to bat for Wilson. And apparently that, if Tabata does bat instead of Alvarez or Snyder, an indication that neither is ready. Tabata could be a decoy. Two and one, although that last shot we had, like Alvarez was seated in the dugout talking with Neil Walker, so probably not going to be used today. 2-1 the count on Mercer.
Even the Red fan is into it.
Well, I think Terry, cameraman, said cheer. There's a line drive caught at third. Pirates strand a man, go to the 8th inning. They lead by 1. 3-2. Pirates need 6 outs. A slim 1-run lead. Alfredo Simon gives Jeff Pico, the pitching coach, and the manager Brian Price a heck of an outing. The 3-run homer in the first inning by Neil Walker.
He's getting a lot of congratulations that you probably didn't think he was going to be getting after that first inning, but he deserves it. Really a great job. And now it's up to the Pirate bullpen to try and put this one away. The first up, first 3 innings, or first 3 outs are going to hopefully belong to Tony Watson as he starts the 8th inning here.
Watson faced 1 batter last night. Devin Mesoraco singled. Billy Hamilton, who was on at second, scored. Brandon Phillips, who was on at first, was thrown out by Josh Harrison at the plate. Chris Heisey bats for Simon. A lot of pinch hitting appearances. He's excelled in this role. 10 hits and 37 at bats with 3 home runs. Watson falls behind 2-0. Balls and a strike on the Central Pennsylvania native Chris Heisey. Two balls, 2 strikes. Watson has faced the Reds in 8 games now this season. Has given up 4 runs in 5 1/3 innings. Against Cincy, 13 hits. Popped up toward right. Lambeau still coming on. Makes the catch. 1 out in the 8th.
That was in that spot that gave him trouble last time. This time the Lees are done.
Nissan Road ahead tomorrow. A rematch of the wild card game. Coverage begins at 1 o'clock. Johnny Cueto, 15-8 on the year. Francisco Liriano, who has been pitching much better last several starts, on the mound for Pittsburgh.
My guess is there'll be a little Cueto chant going at some point.
You think so?
That one? Yep. Cueto shirt.
Shows bunt again. Strike. 38,023, 17th sellout of the season on hand to watch the middle game of the series. One ball, 1 strike. One ball, 1 strike. 1-2 on Hamilton.
They went change up away with him that time. You got to gear up for that good fastball if you're facing Watson, and he loves to throw it in on the hands. Well, he takes a little off, places it on the outside corner. It's a great pitch. Now they're going to go back in. He didn't quite get it in there where he wanted. One-run ball game. Got to keep this guy off the bases.
A little bit better hitter from this right side of the plate.
Although Russell Martin kind of showed everybody that doesn't mean just because he takes off running he's going to be safe.
Dribbler Watson gets him 2 outs.
Good job by Watson, immediately getting off the mound, making sure he got that short hop. A little chop out in front. See Watson break in, so he gets that short hop. The ball bounces just right in front of his glove. if he was going to lay back a little bit, then there's going to be a little bit more of an in-between hop. And how many times have we seen pitchers, when they get any kind of an in-between hop, there's a little bit of a bobble. They don't field it cleanly. With Hamilton going down the line, if you don't field it cleanly, it's probably going to be a base hit or an error on you.
Now big time matchup here. And a roller towards second. On to first. It is elementary. Our dear Watson. 1, 2, 3. Go to the bottom of the 8th. Bucks still up 1. Here in Pittsburgh, the Pirates leading by a run. And just reminders, you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. 3-2 Buccaneers heading to the bottom of the 8th inning. Pinch hitter Jose Tabata will be leading things off. Mark Melancon will start to crank that up in the Pirates bullpen before too long. Tabata had the base hit that scored the winning run with the infield drawn in. He chopped one between the third baseman and the shortstop to bring home Josh Harrison. Bucks won 2-1 now. Big Jumbo Diaz.
Opponent batting average very low there at .202. That's something he can really be proud of. Didn't make his major league debut till he was 30 years old. Is it
this year?
Right.
Yep. After all those years in the minors,
30.
including 1 year with the Pirates organization 2 years ago. Tony Watson, 1, 2, 3 and out.
.340 minor league appearances for this season, coming to the big leagues. Likes to hide that baseball, doesn't he?
96, 0-2. Last night, again, the infield drawn in. Pass third. Harrison scores. Buccos take the lead. Bruce coming in. One out in the bottom of the 8th. Pinch hitter Tabata flies to right. Diaz replaces Alfredo Simon, who went 7, gave up the 3 runs on 4 hits. J-Hay 1 for 3.
Kind of a down day for J-Hay so far. Just that 1 hit. Still time though. Do something. Next, just say, did you see that?
Ball, 1 strike.
Like that breaking ball right in there, but that's not what he's looking for. 3 away.
'97, 2-1 the count.
Jumbo's got the big fastball that he can throw in there, but it doesn't bother J-Hay much.
It's now 3 balls and a strike.
They'll be hunting heater on this one more than ever. If Jumbo will give in and throw it to him. He threw it, but nowhere near the strike zone.
A 1-out walk. Brings up Andrew Lambeau. Singled in the first. Hit the ball the other way. Flied out his second at bat and bounced back to the mound his last time up. Lambeau's first and only big league home run last year came in Cincinnati off Logan Ondrusek. He has been swinging a hot bat in Indy, 6 homers his last 8 games. It was just a paper move. The Pirates optioned Garrett Cole yesterday to their low A-ball Bristol club, but that's only because rosters expand. And Brent Morrell was brought back up.
It's kind of like what
Jeff Locke
has been proposed for a regular season, that you can designate by game who's active on a certain night. It's basically what they're doing.
Rosters expand on Monday.
You would never activate, on a certain night.
It's the move, Brent Morrell.
You wouldn't activate on a certain night starting pitchers, obviously, if that was the everyday rule, but it kind of works well these last 4 games before the rosters expand. Get extra players on your team early.
Morrell's been up and down a lot this season. The other way, but foul. Look out. Oh, it's another great play. That ball was lined down the line and left.
That was a bullet. I'd have been running the other way on that one.
My goodness.
Notice how she moved forward to get the short hop there.
Ready. Bounce towards second. Phillips to second for one. A double play. Well, Mark Melancon will be coming on with just the 1-run lead. Root Sports. Relive every Panthers touchdown, pass, and play from their most recent matchup every Sunday night this fall, starting with their season opener against Delaware. Panthers Rewind, Delaware versus Pitt, tomorrow at 6 on Root Sports. 3-2, a 3-run homer by Neil Walker in the first inning. Only runs for the Pirates, and looking to have those hold up. Mark Melancon comes on. He earned his 25th save with a 1-2-3 ninth inning last night.
Now the game was set up absolutely like the Pirates like it. Once they got through that 7th inning, Wilson did the fabulous job. Then you have the 2 guys you want. Watson cruised in the 8th. Now it's the Sharks' turn.
Phillips, Mesoraco, Pena, 3, 4, 5 in the order. Last night he retired Bruce, Christopher Negron, and Skip Schumacher to earn the save.
Good shot there of what it means to play no doubles. So you see Jay Hay at third base. He's only about a step and a half or so off that chalk line. He can't allow anything to get by him down in that corner. All right, guarding it a little bit, even with the right-hand hitter over at first. And the outfield will play extra deep, doing the same thing. They don't want an extra base. They'll give up a single in front, but they don't want an extra base hit.
Phillips 2 ground balls and a fly out against Vance Worley. Still Worley's game to win. One ball, 2 strikes on Phillips. Gets a piece.
When you throw that curveball down there, just almost bouncing in the dirt, and it's fouled off, you definitely know the hitter is in that 2-strike mode where he's being very defensive, trying to make contact.
2-2.
Little low. Almost same spot though where the other one was fouled off.
Might be a little tough play here. Mercer gets rid of it quickly.
Yeah, you don't like that one. They're just rolling out there. But I think Phillips kind of fell backwards a little bit on the swing. Didn't get a good jump either coming out of the box. Ball's inside, so he actually steps out of the box behind him before he took his first step to first. Gave Mercer a little bit more time on that slow roller.
Phillips now at the age of 33 in his 9th season with the Reds. Not nearly the runner he used to be. So one away, and now here's Devin Mesoraco. One and one.
Pretty good pitch. This one right at the knees.
Mesoraco hitting .366 against the Pirates this season. Two and two.
Back-to-back hooks. Hook him again.
To left center field, pretty well deep. Marte back to the wall, makes the catch.
Thank goodness for the notch. It's a long ways to the wall there. We were in Cincinnati. It might be a tie game.
That wall starts to jut out as Marte was heading out that way. A deep drive for the second out.
I was a little concerned about the sun, too. You look at the shadow of Marte. He's looking dead into that sun as he has to make that catch.
Two down. Bucks trying to win their 7th, the last 9. They are an out away from moving to within 2.5 of the Brewers in the Central. Oh, and 2.
There's the cutter. That's really his bread and butter pitch. He hadn't really used it all that much today. He's got mainly to that curveball when he's needed something other than the heater. That one had the nice bite coming down and in.
38,023 on their feet. The 0-2 from Melanson. 1 and 2. Vance Worley went 6 1/3, gave up 1 earned. Looks to go to 6 and 4. Wilson got 2 big outs in the 7th. Watson a 1-2-3-8. The home run by Walker so far has been enough. Raise it! Raise the Jolly Roger again over PNC Park. The Bucks win their 3rd straight series against a National League Central Division foe.
I tell you, they got a good recipe going right now, don't they? The starting pitching that they've been having, it's been outstanding. Every single game, and that's what you need. You want to win a division, you got to outpitch those other guys almost every night, and that's what the Pirates are doing.
Neil Walker's home run in the first inning with 2 aboard, the difference. Vance Worley goes to 6-4. Wilson, Watson, and Melanson finish it off. The Bucks keep moving. They have won 7 of their last 9. They are 71-64, and the current standings in the National League Central Division as the Cardinals get ready to play the second half of their day-night doubleheader against the Cubs. The Milwaukee Brewers are taking on the Giants in San Francisco. A lot more to talk about as the Bucks win their second straight over the Cincinnati Reds. We go to the studios now and Rob King.